Hello and welcome back to the Mysterious Thief Forget-Me-Not. Last time we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger where O'Malley saw a person walk behind the museum, so let's see if we're going to investigate. I wonder. My curiosity gets the better of me as I decide to follow whoever this is. Of course we do. When I peek around the wall, I spot them walking out of the side entrance with something in hand. As I squint to get a better look, I realize what it is they're carrying. The security tapes. Stop right there. Ah. Upon noticing me, they bolt the other direction, still carrying the tapes under their arm. Oh, for the love of... With an annoyed huff, I quickly start giving chase, doing my best to try and catch up to them. Stop! My instincts kick in, guiding me forward as I chase after the thief past the museum and through a nearby alley. In an instant, the rest of the world turns into a blur, as the only thing on my mind is catching up to whoever this is. But I can't seem to close the distance between us, as they get further and further away. Come on, just a little bit. No, not now. My legs suddenly start to feel heavy, and my lungs get tighter with each step I try to take. I can feel myself slowing down to a crawl as my vision starts to wane. I can barely make out the thief, who is seemingly stopped in place and is looking back at me. Just a little further. My whole body starts to feel heavy, and breathing only gets more difficult as I try to press onward. Meanwhile, the thief is still staying in place, staring at me as the world around me starts to spin. In an instant, my body gives up on me as I fall onto my side with barely any strength left to even raise my head. Active? Detective! I can barely make out someone, perhaps that thief, kneeling beside me as they try and bring me back to my senses. Detective? Detective, are you okay? Please say something. Can you hear me? Detective? Detective! My head... Oh, really? They brought us here, okay. My head was pounding harder than it ever has as I opened my eyes and squint at my surroundings. It takes a few blinks for me to realize I wasn't wearing my glasses, prompting me to search for them. Where are my... They're on the table next to you. The unfamiliar voice catches me off guard, but I manage to feel out my glasses sitting next to me like they said. I quickly put them on, blinking as my vision finally becomes clearer, before realizing where that voice came from. Or rather, from who? Forget-me-not? In my shock, I try to get up, but my head starts pounding once more, causing me to fall back on the bed I'm laying in. Oh, take it easy. You're in no shape to be moving around right now. Despite my vision still spinning, I manage to sit up again, staring at the thief in disbelief. Not only you. Where am I? You're, in a safe place? That doesn't make me feel comfortable at all. I know, but it's the best answer I can give you. I look around a little, holding my head as it continues to throb in pain. Wasn't I at the museum? Why am I... It then suddenly dawns on me as I look back at them. That thief near the museum. Was that you? Why were you there? And the tapes. What did you do with them? Calm down. Jeez, you're always so ready to just jump right back into action, aren't you? They shake their head with a sigh. Yes, that was me, guilty as charged. But don't worry, I already gave the tapes back a while ago after looking through them. If I knew they didn't have anything useful on them, I wouldn't have bothered in the first place. I mean, obviously. A while ago? How long was I out for? A few hours, maybe about 4 or 5. That long? I scan the room until I spot a clock on the wall, confirming their statement. Meanwhile, the thief gives me a worried stare with those bright blue eyes of theirs. Yeah, you were out cold. Even hit your head as you fell. I panicked seeing you just suddenly fall over and didn't know what to do. Well, you could have brought them to a hospital or something. So I asked a friend to help me carry you here so you can try to recover even a little bit. But to take me here, wherever this is, wouldn't it have been easier to take me to the hospital instead? See? We weren't that far off from one, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, sure. Great idea. Just carry you on my back all the way to the hospital after a couple of museum employees already saw you chase someone not long beforehand. How am I gonna explain that one? Fair enough. But I have my driver's license on me. You could have looked through my belongings and taken me back home at least. That judgmental stare they're giving me only gets stronger. I'm not going to search through someone's belongings without their permission, especially since you just fainted. Do you know how bad that would have looked? Someone would have thought I mugged you or something. For a thief, you're sure of your morals. Our conversation gets interrupted by the sound of someone climbing up a set of stairs towards us. Heck. Fun, didn't even get to read that. That was not me. What the fuck? The entire room quickly goes silent after his outburst as the two of us stare at each other in shock. So, it wasn't Crow that helped carry him here? Carry them here? Okay. I'm speechless, my eyes darting back and forth between him and Forget-Me-Not, unsure how to process what I'm seeing right now. But sure enough, before me is none other than Sungwon Kim, aka Crow, one of the most notorious thieves in all of Twin Bells. After trying for what feels like an eternity at this point, I finally managed to utter something. Am I in hell? That's my line. He turns his gaze over to Forget-Me-Not, who is trying to avert theirs sheepishly. Kid, we need to talk. Now. I'll be right back. The two of them walk out of the room and close the door behind them, leaving me all alone with my own thoughts. That was so reckless. Like, I get that they were panicking, but really, bringing Aiden here, to their hideout, where it's not just Forget-Me-Not, but also Crow. That Crow's safe place. Yeah. Okay. Of all the things I could have learned, I was not expecting to learn that those two know each other. My headache slowly starts to subside, not enough to let me stand up, mind you, as I start to look around the room more clearly. There's a few more like typos or missed words or additional words popping up, like in the second half of this. That's why I stumble sometimes. I mean, that's not the only reason, but yeah. Not much else I can do at this point. Now, let's see. Okay, Forget-Me-Not doesn't get to be nosy, but we do. Not bad. I try to stand up from the bed I'm laying in, but fail again as my head starts to spin. I'm forced to lay back down and wait for it to stop, reflecting on everything. To think all this happened because I didn't take better care of myself. I'm embarrassed. I can't begin to imagine what it would have been like if that thief hadn't brought me here to recover. I then start to think about Forget-Me-Not and what they must have gone through while I was unconscious. I feel bad, thinking about how that thief must have felt seeing me just collapse suddenly. Even I probably would have panicked if I was in their shoes. As the headache finally subsides, I slowly sit back up. Not much I can do at this point. When I get home, I need to force myself to take a couple of days off just to sleep. Good decision. Even if it means the workload back at the precinct will grow exponentially while I'm gone. Okay. Medicine. On the table next to me is a glass of water and some painkillers. I pick up the bottle and examine it thoroughly, then twist it open. Oh, a brand new bottle. I guess they figured I'd be wary of it. As I feel my headache from earlier still lingering, I decide to shake a pill out and pop it into my mouth, helping it down with a full glass of water. Placing both back on the table, I then lay down and wait for the medicine to take effect. Considering how bad I feel right now, I'm probably going to be stuck in bed when I'm back home. Though I'd be a lot worse off if Forget-Me-Not hadn't helped me. Maybe I should thank them properly later. Okay, look at the cactus. While I'm looking around, a cute little cactus on the desk beside me catches my attention. Its deep green color shows that this little one is being very well taken care of. Why am I not surprised someone named after a flower knows how to take care of plants? It is quite cute though. Makes me wish I had grabbed one of these from Ramona's along with the little one I have at home. Maybe I can grab another. I haven't been to her shop in ages. Yeah, which was maybe for the better for someone we know. Okay. Corkboard. In between the door those two exited from and the closet is a medium-sized corkboard with a bunch of papers pinned all over it. I try to squint and read what's on them, but most of them either don't have anything interesting or were flipped around. They must have spent some time hiding any incriminating information before I woke up. I would have been a bit disappointed if they didn't at least do that much. The boxes in the corner of the room also are sealed up tight and have no labels on them. I let out a deep sigh as I stare at the closed door to the room I'm in. I wonder if they would have been as cautious if I wasn't a detective. They should have, unless you're someone who already is in the know. The other bed. Off on the other side of the room, I spot another bed. It's very simple looking. No headboard, and with just a single pillow and a blanket messily thrown on top of it with no thought. I wonder. Crow was wearing some rather casual clothing, so perhaps he lives here with Forget-Me-Not? That could mean that he is their main accomplice, which would explain why it seems like their heists always go so smoothly. I shake my head and force myself to stop this train of thought. The thing is, that is kind of obvious now, you know? They work together and yeah, just as O'Malley just said, it would explain a lot if those two work together. Because what is the alternative? That they're just hanging out with each other? Two thieves just, you know? This is exactly why you're in this situation, Aiden. You can never stop thinking about work. I mean, it's natural in this situation. Save it for when the thought of standing up doesn't make the world do a 360. Fair enough. Anything else here? Doesn't look like it. Then I think we only have the door. Yeah. I can just barely hear Forget-Me-Not and Crow outside the door as Crow angrily lectures them. Why in God's name did you bring that detective here? Do you not realize just how dangerous that is? I had no choice. They suddenly passed out and I had to do something. I wasn't going to leave them laying on the concrete. When I called him for help, he was the one that helped me bring them here after I explained everything.
Oh, for the love of... He should not have encouraged this. Do you two want to get caught?
No, but I also don't want to sit around and do nothing after seeing someone fall unconscious in front of me.
Gee, I sure feel welcome here.
I lay back down, tuning them out as they drone on. After looking around a little, the door to the room opens up again, with Forget-Me-Not and Crow walking in soon after.
Do you understand now?
Yes, I get it. You can stop lecturing me now. Forget-Me-Not takes a seat on the other bed, while Crow stares at me from the corner of his vision.
I'm going to talk to him. Give him a good lecture about this whole situation since he enabled this. You stay here and keep an eye on them while I do so. Got it?
Got it. Crow heads out of the room, but not before shooting me a nasty glare as he closes the door behind him. Forget-Me-Not lets out a deep sigh, staring at the door and then at me. I'm sorry about that. I knew he was gonna be angry, just didn't realize how angry.
No worries. I completely understand his disdain for me, given the circumstances.
With a shake of their head, they wipe that melancholy off their face and continue. If you need anything while I'm here, like medicine or water, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, you can pretend I'm not here.
Oh, thank you.
They then get comfortable and stare at the door, while I stare at them awkwardly.
I suppose I'll just keep looking around. Still a few things left.
No, there weren't.
But it's good that we have a chance, you know? The game is always giving us ample chance to look at everything before we continue with the story. I like that.
But now we can look at Forget-Me-Not. The thief is still staring at the door, seemingly deep in thought. But they soon turn to look at me and shoot a quick smile. What's up? Do you need anything?
No, I'm fine, thank you. I'm sorry if I caused you any problems.
Ah, you mean with Crow. Yeah, that could have gone better. He's right about this being extremely risky, but that wasn't going to stop me from helping you. They pause for a moment, then look at me with a confused stare. What happened back there, though? You've never fainted like that during any of our other chases.
Well...
I try and fail to come up with an excuse on my head, deciding that it's better to be honest.
I've been kind of overexerting myself as of late.
I suppose it just hit me all at once, running after you. They simply blink at me in silence before muttering something under their breath. Why has everyone been overworking themselves?
Everyone?
Forget-Me-Not quickly clears their throat, moving right past the comment they made. Anyway, you know, you really shouldn't overwork yourself so much, Detective. It's not good for you.
How ironic, considering that the reason I'm so overworked in the first place is lecturing me right now.
Oh, please. We both know that even without me around, the others at the precinct would have found something else to shove into your workload.
Touché. Regardless, your little heists always add a sizable pile onto my already large workload. This time especially.
Believe me, I'm also feeling the effects of these back-to-back heists. With a sheepish laugh, they bounce back to the perky attitude they had earlier. Then I suppose it's a good thing I brought you here after all. You probably would have walked right back to the precinct if I had just taken you elsewhere.
You...
With an annoyed sigh, I fall onto my back once more to tune them out, unable to argue with them. Well, jokes aside, if you do need anything, just let me know. We're technically enemies, but I still want to help. With that, they turn to face the door once more, as I stare at them and ponder everything.
Forget-me-not.
A little while later, Forget-me-not stands up and walks my way. Hold still for a second. They lightly place their hand on my forehead, then give a nod after a little bit. Still a little hot, but I think that's enough for now.
How bad was it when I passed out?
Definitely a lot hotter. You must have shot your immune system from overworking and caught something. But a little bed rest, some fluids, and you'll be as good as new.
I see.
My mind starts to wander before I turn back to look at them.
What happens now, however? I imagine you're not going to keep me here until I've fully recovered.
The cheery face they have quickly changes to a more serious stare. Well, this was just a temporary thing from the beginning, as I had no desire to keep you here longer than necessary. So I'd like to ask your permission to learn where you live, so that we can help take you back home, so that you can properly rest. I'll only need it for this one moment, so I hope you can take me for my word that I won't do anything else with this knowledge.
I see.
Very well then. That's fine by me, so long as you truly are being honest. Great. It'll be easier to take you back while you're resting, so feel free to get some shut-eye in the meanwhile. You need as much as you can, after all. Is something wrong? A million thoughts cross my mind as I stare at Forget-me-not, and after a bit of silence on my part, one thought manages to escape me.
Why? Why are you helping me?
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, all of this. Risking your identity by bringing me here, hiding things so that I don't learn context clues if I were to wake up. Not to mention purposefully avoiding saying names of people affiliated with you. You took all these risks just to help me. So why?
They stare at me in silence as their curious gaze changes into a look of concern. Do I really need a reason to help you? Yes, considering the circumstances, it'd be incredibly idiotic to even risk this, as even one slip of the tongue or one forgotten item could reveal me instantly. But even with that, I wanted to help. I know, you may hate me, considering these past few years, but even despite that, you're one of the few officers I respect at the precinct. So I understand that this is just... So understand that this is just me acting on my own instincts and... My vision suddenly goes blurry as another dizzy spell starts to take hold of me. Detective? Detective, are you okay? Their voice starts to fade out more and more, while my head feels like it's being flipped all around. Just lay down, I can get you some more water. I can feel them laying me on my back, but their voice continues to become more distant with each passing moment. With the last of my strength, I can barely muster a response.
But I don't hate you.
Detective O'Malley! Crow! I slowly open my eyes and suddenly see my room before me, just the way I left it the other morning. After blinking a few times, I feel out my glasses near me and simply stare, confused by everything that happened.
I really am back home. Forget-me-not and that room I was in. Was it all just a dream?
My train of thought is interrupted when I spot a card left on my nightstand, adorned with a certain someone's signature that I know all too well. I pick it up and read it to myself. Good morning, Detective. After you passed out, Crow helped me bring you back home, so you can finally rest in your own bed. Sorry that we looked through your belongings to find your address, but I hope it's alright since you technically gave us permission beforehand. Just to make sure you actually take care of yourself, I sent the precinct an email under your name saying that you're taking some time off due to being unwell. You can be mad at me for that later. With all that said, I hope you rest up well, Detective. Signed, Forget-Me-Not. With a sigh, I put the card back where they left it, then lay back down. That thief is an odd one, that's for sure. Taking off my glasses once more, I close my eyes to start getting the rest I've needed for ages. Finally. A few days later. As expected, I ended up being bedridden for the next few days, only getting up to eat, take medicine, and do other such things. I feel a little better today, not well enough to go back to work, so I decided to go for a quick walk for some fresh air. I didn't have a clear destination in mind, so I let my instincts carry me, and now here I am, standing on Sidewind Avenue, right outside Ramona's. If they're taking a short walk, because I don't think they're going, if they're still not well enough to work, I don't expect them to walk all over the city, right? So if they live close enough to Ramona's to walk there, then it's really kind of a surprise that they never ran into Desiree, right? Or am I overthinking it again? Then again, Desiree doesn't go work in their thief outfit, but you know. Not the worst place I could have ended up. The foot traffic at this time of day tends to be a bit of a headache, however. My eyes wander down the street, and a thought crosses my mind. I wonder. That place Forget-Me-Not took me to. I swear I've seen an angled roof like that on the street. Yeah, I was wondering if they would have been able to to locate where they were based on the architecture. Like, of course the chances were a bit lower since they were only in that one room and they were quite sick, so. But especially because of that roof, that attic room, like you would. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I believe it was that bar at the Gallant Rogue. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Wow, very quick. As I continue looking down the street, I sleepily adjust my glasses. It wouldn't hurt to take a look. I could use something to drink as well. Okay. Kitty. As I'm walking down the street, a little orange cat tucked away in an alley catches my attention. I take a quick look around, then kneel down to give it a gentle scratch on the chin. You're that little cat Ramona keeps in the shop, aren't you? The last time I visited, you weren't here yet. A quick glance at its name tag tells me it's named Marigold. Meanwhile, the little thing buries its head into my hand. We always have to. Wow, those are loud purrs, and I've never seen a cat be this friendly before. Although I suppose this is just the kind of emotional medicine I needed after being stuck in bed for so long. I get up and brush any dirt off of my pants as Marigold stares at me with those big eyes of theirs. I see your meows are loud too. You're so similar to your owner. I'll be back soon, I promise. As if understanding me, they turn back around and sit in the spot they were at earlier, looking very pleased. Still says orange cat. Okay. Sign. Ramona's Flowers, the cozy shop before me, is one of the most beloved stores in the city, and that's mostly due to Miss Ramona herself. She's honestly one of the nicest people I've had the pleasure of meeting. When I first moved here, I figured I'd feel a bit homesick, so I dropped in to grab a plant to liven up my flat.
I got to talking with Ramona, and she was super welcoming after learning how far I moved. I have a lot of respect for Miss Ramona, not only because of how thoughtful she is, but also because of how stubborn she is about giving people a good service. Those two factors combined made me realize early on why everyone loves her and the store so much. Okay. Anything else we can look at? I don't think we can quite go somewhere yet, but further on the street I can barely see the bar, its unique shape making it stand out among the buildings around it. I've never actually been to the Gallandrogue before, but I constantly hear good things about it. The food is really good for the price, the owner and employees are nice to be around. I've heard just about everything about that bar. Staring down the street some more, I find myself lost in my thoughts. It also has a lot of Scarlet Rose iconography and memorabilia inside, as I recall. Well, even if my hunch is wrong, it'd still be nice to get something to drink after all this walking. And to see if it really does live up to all the praise. Oh, we're already going there. I'm gonna go back in a moment, I think I can. A short walk later, and I arrive in front of the Gallandrogue, my destination. The bar itself sits right on the corner of the street, acting as a divider between the shops to the north and the offices to the south. I stare at it deeply, most notably the second floor and its angled roof. That roof. It wouldn't hurt to try and confirm my hunch, as the worst that could happen is that I'm simply overthinking things. Either way, I'll end up with something to drink by the end of it, which is probably what I need the most, to be honest. Okay, let's try to go back. I turn around to look back up the street I came from, squinting as I spot Ramona's store in the lineup of buildings. This corner wasn't as far of a walk as I thought it was. I never took the time to come down this way due to assuming it was much further. I glance at all the stores and such in the immediate vicinity, the bar of course standing out among them, before continuing my train of thought. I guess I don't really have an excuse for not coming down here after all. You'd think after living in a place for over 3 years I would have taken the time to see everything. Yeah, you never do. Oh, can we not go back? Wait, let me... Oh no. Oh no, I don't like that we maybe missed an exchange with Ramona here. Oh no, let me go back. Come on. Wait, can I? Oh no, I cannot roll back because we're in the point and click screen. Oh, that annoys me now. I'm sorry. Well, what if I... Wait, but history doesn't do much, it's just because it's just a text. You cannot go back to anything. Oh, that's a shame. I thought we would just... Because we had that with other places as well, right? Where we just could click on the screen, but it wouldn't take us there yet if we had other things to do. Man, I don't want to load my save just because it was so far back. So, we're gonna have to live with it now. Sorry. Look. Right next to me is a small bakery, simple in design, but homey at the same time. The window at the front is lined with displays of various pastries they offer inside, ranging from pies to tarts, just about anything you'd like, really. The clerk sweeping near the front notices me staring into the store and walks up to me with a smile. How often are they sweeping? Good day, sir. Oh, Detective O'Malley. Fancy seeing you around these parts. Oh, good day to you too. This is my first time walking in this area in particular, to be honest, so forgive me for loitering. No, it's all right. You're welcome to go inside and pick something out. If there's anything you're in the mood for, the boss will be happy to whip it up for you. Whip it up. That wasn't even intentional. Oy vey. I'm not in the mood for anything at the moment, but I'll be sure to drop by on my way back. Of course, feel free, Detective.
With a happy nod, the clerk goes back to their sweeping as I stare into the store a little more.
Maybe something sweet would be nice to get on the way back home, just as a little treat.
Okay, passes by. Nearby a small TV store, I overhear a couple of ladies gossiping to each other about just about anything that they're reminded of. It feels like it's been ages since the last heist. The wait for the next one always puts me on edge. The ballet exhibit is almost over, so maybe Sir Wilkinson will bring in something new that Forget-Me-Not will want to steal. That's usually how it goes, at least. That's true. I'll be rooting for Detective O'Malley either way, though, when the next one happens. The woman suddenly pauses, noticing me loitering near them while staring into the shop. Detective O'Malley? The other woman turns around because of her friend's outburst, sharing the same shocked expression after noticing me. Oh my god, it is Detective O'Malley. Could we ask for an autograph, Detective? Could I get a picture?
My apologies, but I'm a bit busy right now.
Aw, but it'll just take a minute or so. A clerk from inside the store suddenly knocks on the window, catching the woman's attention to give them a stern look.
Sorry we bothered you, Detective.
We hope you have a good day. As the two of them go back to their idle chatter, the clerk inside gives me a thumbs up, and I give them a grateful nod in return.
I'm saved. I don't have the energy to deal with those kinds of people right now. Okay, that was a surprising exchange. Thanks, shopkeep.
The Gallant Rogue. I find myself standing in front of the Gallant Rogue, staring at its rustic yet classy appearance. Its dark brick exterior and unique shape makes it stand out in the area, and yet also makes it feel right at home. As I look in through the window, I spot all of the Scarlet Rose memorabilia and iconography decorating the walls of the interior. I knew that the homages to the Scarlet Rose were one of the key talking points about the bar's appearance, but I wasn't expecting this much. I steal another glance inside, noting the handful of people happily chatting, enjoying the food and each other's company. I'm honestly still surprised at just how much the city loves Phantom Thieves, and Scarlet Rose in specific. Sure, I read the case files and watched old newsreels of their heists, but I suppose that's not the same as actually living through them. My mind wanders to my talk with Sir Wilkinson at the museum. I wonder how many people are like him, where that thief managed to change their whole worldview. Either way, I suppose the legacy the Scarlet Rose left behind is what helped this place get started. Sure did, eh? Southend? Looking further down the street, I spot the various office buildings that make up the business district all lined up in an orderly fashion. Every building is covered head to toe in super reflective windows, which makes that whole area stand out like a sore thumb compared to the rest of the city. The business district is this close to the market street, huh? I personally haven't been there before, even after all these years, and I've never really needed to. The previous larceny detective visited there quite a bit, from what I know. My mind wanders to thinking about what it was like when I first arrived. Even though the precinct looks disorganized, it's apparently much more put together than it was before I got transferred here. I only got a quick glance at the old files, but the old larceny detective and the commissioner butted heads a lot. I shake my head to get my mind off of this topic. I really must be tired if I'm thinking about this again, just from looking at the business district. Wait, the business district? A sudden thought crosses my mind as I realize where I am. Crow. After everything that man went through, would he really let himself be this close to that old hell on a daily basis? Or perhaps... I shake my head once more, determined to stop myself this time. Aiden, he's not even your case, he's the chief's. There's no point in thinking about this. Sometimes I wish I could shut my brain up as easily as some people. For sure. Okay, then I'm afraid since we don't seem to be able to go back to Ramona's. What a shame. Yeah. I guess, yeah, we have nothing else left but entering the bar. Am I ready to head inside? Not really, but we're gonna do it. I walk up to the main entrance and stare at the door for a moment as I collect my thoughts. Come on, Aiden, it's just a bar. What do you even expect to happen? At the end of the day, you're just on a walk and decided to get something to drink, alright? Don't overthink this, like you always do. With a deep breath, I open the door as a bell on the other side welcomes me in with its gentle sound. The overall mood changes as soon as I step into the bar. Any sound from the outside fades out as the subtle jazz music playing on the speakers manages to fill the room. The TV near the counter is on, currently playing a rerun of the morning news to the almost empty bar now that lunch rush is over. And along every wall, many in number but not overwhelming, are various decorations related to the Scarlet Rose. People always talk it up, but it's even more impressive in person. There's so much more than I was expecting. All these newspaper clippings, photos of the things he stole. Well, well, look who it is. I'm suddenly taken out of my awe by a voice calling me from the other side of the room. The source of that voice appears to be the man standing behind the counter, who I recognize as Andre Daniels, the owner and main bartender.
Nice to finally see you, Detective O'Malley.
I walk over to the counter and sit down on one of the stools neatly lined up in front of it. All the while, he puts away what he was currently working on to give me his full, undivided attention.
It's rare to see you around these parts, Detective. Are you not a fan of my decor, perchance?
That smug remark of his leaves me feeling a bit embarrassed as I push up my glasses to hide it.
Oh, no, that's not it. I've just never had time to visit this area is all. It's absolutely nothing personal, mister. You can just call me Andre.
Oh, thank you.
So, what made you change your mind?
I felt a little parched on my walk, so I figured I'd drop in for a quick drink.
I've been kind of sick as of late, so I needed to stretch my legs.
A chuckle escapes from Andre as that smug look returns.
Wow, Detective, didn't take you for a day drinker. You wish me and alcohol don't get along at all.
My remark manages to get a proper laugh out of him this time.
Fair enough.
That would have been a bit uncharacteristic.
I happen to make more than just cocktails here, so I'd be more than happy to get you something non-alcoholic to drink if you so wish. Well, there's non-alcoholic cocktails, so that would be perfect. Then could I get a coffee or a tea? Well, me personally, I'm more of a tea drinker, so tea.
Some tea, please.
Sure thing. Anything you're specifically in the mood for?
Not too sure.
I'm always open to trying new teas, so why not something under your recommendation? Alright, I already have something in mind.
Tightening the apron on his waist, Andre ducks into the kitchen with proud steps. Meanwhile, I decide to look around the room some more, continuing to stare at all of the decor on the walls. I recognize the newspaper clippings from the case files I read. Back then, and even now, I'm still amazed by just how much the Scarlet Rose accomplished in the years they were around. Their ammo was also pretty similar to Forget-Me-Nots, especially with how they returned what they stole every time.
Okay, so Forget-Me-Not isn't the first one to do that. I guess that makes sense. Like, why they would both be so popular if people know that they just return their stuff. That's kind of easier to admire that when it's really just a show and not that they're trying to get rich on the side or something, you know? It's obvious that they were a huge inspiration to them. It doesn't take long before I spot Andre walking back out of the kitchen, gently carrying a cup my way. He slides the drink towards me, then pulls out a lemon slice from the mini fridge nearby and places it on the rim. Enjoy. I briefly stared at the drink before me, awing at its bright red color that's practically glistening under the lights. With a quick blow, I take a sip from the cup and immediately feel the slightly sweet yet tart flavor enveloping me. Any exhaustion I had slowly disappears with each sip, as the sourness does its best to wake me up. I don't recognize this flavor. What is it? It's hibiscus, a new personal favorite of mine. You said you were sick recently, and this is a great tea to help you recover. Thank you. That's very kind of you. It's pretty sour, though. Could I get a bit of sugar? As you wish. On cue, he pulls out a jar of sugar from the cabinets below. After sprinkling a little into my drink, I take another sip and feel the sweetness help balance out the tea. Ah, much better. While taking sips of my drink, my eyes wander back around the bar to stare at everything again. Everyone always talks up how much of an homage to the late thief this place is, but I didn't believe it until I finally saw it for myself. Since you're such a huge fan of them, I'm curious what your opinion on Forget-Me-Not is. A small chuckle escapes from Andre. Is this an interrogation, detective? No, it's merely my own curiosity. I'm just teasing you, don't worry. My opinions on Forget-Me-Not, huh? They look around the room, deep in thought, before looking back at me with another smile. I suppose I'm quite a big fan of their work as well. I grew up during the Scarlet Rose era, you know? There aren't any words I could use to describe the sheer awe I felt watching that man disguise himself as anyone, then escape without a trace. It stuck with me, and I wanted to give back to the man that inspired me so much, which is why I opened up a bar in homage. I always thought to myself, I'd love to treat them to a drink as thanks for the joy they brought me. They sigh happily before continuing their train of thought. Seeing everything Forget-Me-Not is doing is giving me that same feeling I had as a kid all those years ago. And I can guarantee that a lot of kids these days are probably going through the same thing I did. I continue taking sips of my drink, processing their heartfelt answer. Everyone I've asked has said something similar about them. The city really does love phantom thieves, doesn't it? More than you can even imagine, detective. And if I can be honest, Twin Bells doesn't have anything going for it other than that. You want history, picturesque buildings and landscapes, popular tourist areas, dozens of other cities in the country offer more than we do. But the Scarlet Rose helped give Twin Bells its identity, and something for everyone in the city to love. I see. What about you? I pause, caught off guard by their question. What about me? I'm asking, what's your opinion of Forget-Me-Not? Oh, a good one. I'm the lead detective on their case, do you really need to ask? Once again they chuckle, then lean forward on the counter to my eye level. Oh please, detective. If you didn't like them, you'd already be ranting about them by now. Touché. My opinion on them, though, I'm honestly not sure. It can be pretty annoying to clean up after their heists and chase them to the ends of the earth for the things they stole. And yet, I find that I can't bring myself to hate them. Not sure why.
I stare at what's left of my drink, trying to put into words why I feel that way, but come up empty. All the while, Andre simply stares at me before standing back up and leaning on the counter behind him. Let me ask you this then. Would you be happy if Forget-Me-Not wasn't around anymore? Well, I try to come up with an answer, but nothing manages to escape from me. I rest my head in my hands, really racking my brain to think of something to say, but come up blank once more. Just then, Andre speaks up, interrupting my train of thought. So that's how it is for you, huh? Well, don't worry. You don't have to give me an answer right now. You can take as long as you want to figure things out. I'd hate to loiter though, and you probably have things you need to do before the dinner rush. Then take these thoughts with you when you leave, and really think them through. And when you finally have your answer, you can come visit again and tell me. I'm always happy to listen. I'll be sure to take you up on that after then. I finish my drink with a satisfied sigh, then slide some cash out of my wallet onto the counter. Thank you, Andre, for the drink and for the talk. Anytime, detective. You're more than welcome here. Take care on your way back home now. I will. Thank you. Okay, but those two? Yeah? No? What do you think? As I make my way back to the front door, I pause briefly to stare at the photos on the wall once more. My opinion on Forget-Me-Not, huh? With a quick wave back to Andre, I walk back outside onto Sidewind Avenue. Oh, a few days later. I thought we might run into someone else, but yeah, it makes sense to like that whole scene with Andre. I really like that. It takes a while, but I'm finally in good enough shape to return to work. Although I've been dreading the pile of work that's been waiting for me this whole time, I'm also glad to finally be back after everything. As I walk in, greeting every officer along the way who welcomes me back, I spot a certain someone waiting near my desk.
Welcome back, O'Malley.
With a deep belly laugh, he happily slams his hand into my back with even more gusto than usual.
Oof. Thank you, Inspector. And my apologies for suddenly taking time off the past week. It's no worry at all, Detective. I understand completely. We're all glad to have you back, me especially.
I hold back a sigh, as I already know what he's implying.
Oh boy. I assume there's some work you'd like me to assist with? You catch on quick, O'Malley. Here, follow me to my office.
As soon as he's out of earshot, I let out a deep sigh, then follow after him. Inspector Harrison lets me in first, then closes the door once we're both inside. Although not super messy, his office is looking slightly more disheveled than it usually does, as several boxes and folders of cases litter the inside.
What happened in here? Oh, well, it's that time of year again. The Commissioner wants us to square away all the old cases and send them to the archives.
That's right. Because of everything that's happened since the ballet, it completely slipped my mind.
My apologies, Inspector. I completely forgot. No worries, O'Malley. It's understandable, what with the heists and you falling ill. You're likely still recovering, so helping me sort these old cases of mine shouldn't be too much to ask of you, I assume.
Not at all, Inspector.
Thank God he isn't pushing me too hard right off the bat.
That's something. I grab the chair near his desk and make myself comfortable, then pick out a few boxes to start shrinking the pile. We both quietly skim through the documents, sorting them into neat piles to show which cases can be archived. Shouldn't they be marked in terms of whether they're still being worked on or not?
Okay, I have no idea about police work.
As I'm working through my portion, I start to notice something in common with the majority of these cases.
Sorry to interrupt, Inspector, but why are so many of these cases related to Crow?
The inspector puts down the file he was reading to give me his full attention.
Well, it's complicated. That man's been a thorn in our side for a decade now, what with his vigilantism. But he's also incredibly smart and has managed to conduct his work with as many loopholes as he could find.
He picks up a folder from his pile, then opens it and simply stares.
All these cases are either old enough to be outside of the statute of limitations, or considered solved because of the circumstances.
I see. I continue skimming through the file I opened, while a part of my mind wanders, remembering that time with Forget-Me-Not. They know Crow, so I wonder if they helped with any of these. Suddenly, the inspector's phone starts to ring, interrupting my train of thought. He puts away what he was doing and promptly picks up the phone with an apologetic smile.
Oops, let me get that. Hello, Inspector Harrison speaking. Oh, Commissioner, what can I do for you? Yes, I see. I'll be right over.
He quickly hangs up, then stands up from his seat while cracking his back.
I'll be back in just a little bit. The Commissioner wants to confirm something in the archives. Hold down the fort while I'm gone, okay, O'Malley?
Will do. With another pat on my back, the inspector bolts from the room, leaving me alone with the documents strewn about. I continue to work through my pile as I stumble upon a case I'm familiar with. These are those break-ins from 5 years ago, and the very reason I'm here in Twin Bells to begin with. I skim through the admittedly large folder, the last few pages of which are dedicated entirely to the LeChance robbery. They were finally able to catch those burglars because of the Commissioner personally stepping in to investigate. I can understand his grief because what happened to his family, but even still, I can agree he went overboard. As I continue skimming this document, I notice the small part dedicated to the third member of the household, Desiree. I quickly read past it, but do a double take as I glance at her physical description. Average height, slim build, has dark curly hair and blue eyes, with a mole near her mouth. I grab one of the files I sorted away earlier, the case about the jewelry conman Crow took down, then flip to the section about his accomplice. Average height and slim build, wearing a hat and navy jacket, with dark curly hair. That's almost a perfect match. But it's far too vague to make a theory out of. As I try to shake away this urge to press deeper, I'm reminded of that incident near the museum. But it fits the disguise the thief wore at that time. I stare at the door, then back at the files before me, my mind bouncing back and forth between continuing to work and a bad decision. I shouldn't. That'll get me in trouble if I'm caught. But with another quick glance at the door, I pull out my phone to take pictures of the case files for later. The conman case, the break-in at the LeChance home. I take as much as I can while keeping watch for when the inspector returns. Just as I finish, the inspector walks back into the office, looking as jovial as ever as he plants himself back onto his chair.
Sorry to keep you waiting, O'Malley.
No worries, Inspector.
Now that that's squared away, let's get this pile done with.
He cracks his knuckles and opens up the file he was working on before he left. Meanwhile, I hide my phone back into my pocket, holding back a sigh of relief.
Please let me just be overthinking things as usual.
No, you're just too smart. Many hours later. After helping the inspector sort through all of his old files, I'm finally back home away from all of it. My anxiety about getting caught made the day feel longer than usual, which leaves me extra exhausted. I ignore it, however, and pull out my phone, connecting it to my computer to transfer everything I copied earlier so I can sort through it.
I copied a lot more than I thought I did. This is nothing I can't handle, however.
I do a quick stretch, then sit myself down to start looking through everything, ready to find anything that proves or disproves my theory. I open up the jewelry conman case first, continuing where I left off earlier at the precinct.
It's a pretty simple case, all things considered. The only thing that made it difficult was how well that man covered his tracks. He was finally taken down, however, when a fellow jeweler took him to court with the very jewel Maximilian bought off of him. As I read through the case file, I noticed how little Crow is actually mentioned, aside from the museum incident. The inspector was right. Crow really does know how to take the attention off of himself. So the complete opposite of Forget-Me-Not. I mean, one of the reasons why they work so well together, I guess. I flipped to the incident at the museum, the part I'm most interested in. I was in the process of transferring to Twin Bells at the time, so this is my first time reading about this case in detail, and quite a few things stand out to me. There's no mention of the former detective's investigations. I suppose the rumors are true then. He pushed aside the robberies to investigate this case as much as he could. I wonder if things would have gone differently if he hadn't. I push that thought aside and press onward, continuing to read the incident in detail. Everything else is here in perfect detail. Maximilian's plan to capture Crow, Crow making a fool out of him in front of the officers, and, of course, the part where his mysterious accomplice rescued him. I stare at the foggy security camera photos deep in thought. Average height, slim build, dark curly hair. It's presumed the accomplice was the one to switch out the jewel with a fake look-alike made of colored glass. A fake jewel? That's just like the sunrise glow trick. I pin this page off to the side, then open up the next case of interest, the robberies. Due to how little effort was put into them, all of the entries are rather short, except for the last one. The LeChance robbery. I start to read through that part carefully, fully digesting all of the information available. At around 5 in the morning, police received a call from an unknown male voice about a robbery at the LeChance home. When police arrived at the scene, the living room was in disarray, but Jean-Jacques and Misty LeChance lay on the couch, their wounds tended to. According to the couple and the investigation afterwards, nothing was missing from any part of the home. My interest has already peaked as I read this, dozens of thoughts circling my mind. However, I push them aside for now, then flip to the next page and continue reading. There's all the information about the robbers and the victims. I can skip the first part, that's not why I'm here. Sorry in advance, Commissioner, for prying. From what I can tell, Mr. and Mrs. LeChance stayed in the hospital for about half a month to recover from their injuries. After detailing everything they could remember, they soon moved out of the city at the Commissioner's request. Their daughter Desiree, on the other hand, was not home at the time, and has since been with a close friend, as Mr. LeChance put it. They left without her. Was that just the Commissioner rushing them, or maybe... I shake that thought aside, then pull up her detailed file as of the robberies. Around 165 centimeters, with dark curly hair, has a mole near their lips and bright blue eyes. I think about the description of Crow's accomplice as I stare at the family photo included in the case file. I pin it to the side along with the other document, then pull out my final file, the current case file for Forget-Me-Not. With everything side by side, I then start to compare all of the details. Forget-Me-Not's debut happened about 2 months after the museum incident with Crow. However, about 5 months earlier was the LeChance robbery,
where afterwards Desiree LeChance went to stay with Mr. LeChance's close friend. The robbery that was called in by an unknown male voice. I can feel the gears turning in my head, one after another, as I put my theory together. All of this would just feel like a crazy coincidence, if not for the similarities with Forget-Me-Not and their heists. I then pull out the last bit that I'm confident in, Forget-Me-Not's physical description. I put it beside the other two, immediately noticing the near-perfect match. Average height and slim build with dark curly hair. The Forget-Me-Not description also has a detail from my own personal dealings with the thief after all of these years, their striking blue eyes and the mole near their mouth. As I stare at the LeChance photo once more, thinking back to earlier at the museum, everything starts to fall into place. Desiree LeChance is Forget-Me-Not. With all of the information, I start to paint the picture in my mind. Desiree LeChance moves in with Crow, or someone affiliated to Crow, after the robberies. 5 months later, she rescues Crow from the trap at the museum, creating a diversion with a smoke bomb and swapping the jewel on their way out. Then she debuts 2 months later as the thief Forget-Me-Not. My theory sounds plausible, but that's the problem. It's only a theory. Even if I wanted to submit this as a formal investigation, which I don't, it would be thrown out as conjecture at best. Or I'd be fired and sued for misusing case files at worst. I stare at the information before me, then out my window, watching the clouds start to roll in. All of the thoughts swirling around in my head right now are all saying the same thing. I want to know. And I guess that's what makes you a good detective. It's also interesting, seeing it from their point of view when we know the truth and we know it's true. But it is also, as they're saying, it's just conjecture, like they don't really have proof unless they have a proper photo, maybe, of Forget-Me-Not. And even then, I want to confirm this for myself. I get up from my desk with another stretch. With determination, I put on my coat, grab an umbrella near the door, and head out to see if I'm right. Once again, I find myself on Sidewind Avenue, the rain pouring around me as I stare at the gallant rogue. The previously comfy bar feels like it's looming over me this time, as all my thoughts from earlier swirl around like a storm in my head. This is stupid. Why did I come all the way here? To prove my theory? What if I'm wrong? What then? I would have just made a fool of myself in front of that dang thief. I should leave before anyone sees me. Just as I'm about to leave, I spot someone staring at me from the alley behind the bar. They duck inside as soon as we make eye contact, as if telling me to follow them. Against my better judgment, I go after them. Of course you do. I squeeze my way into the alley, making absolutely sure no one spotted me. It's there that I see a familiar figure waiting for me, leaning against the wall with a smirk. Good evening, detective. Good evening. How did you know I wanted to speak with you? Call it a hunch. Saw you gazing off into space earlier and figured you had something on your mind. So, how can I help you, detective? I assume you're not just here for a friendly chat. Always acting so snarky. I stare at them as I collect my thoughts once more with a deep breath. Here goes nothing. Well, you're correct. I wanted to ask you something. Does the name Desiree LeChance mean anything to you? I see a surprised look quickly flash on their face before a more serious gaze replaces it in an instant. The commissioner's granddaughter? That's correct. I noticed a few shared coincidences between you and her, and wanted to see what you thought about it. They continued to stare at me, as if trying to analyze my next move. Coming to the thief to ask their opinion? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Even if I had anything to share with you, what makes you think I'd want to?
His reaction.
You've always enjoyed a good puzzle. I figured you'd be over the moon about this one. They scoff. A puzzle, huh? Cute joke. Regardless, she's been gone from the city for almost 5 years. What kind of shared coincidences, as you put it, could we even have?
And how do you know that?
Everything related to the Lechances were kept under wraps by the commissioner himself. They then give me a smug smile. You already forgot who I'm familiar with? If I ever want to know anything that's happening in the precinct, I just ask Crow. And he told me all about the Lechance robbery.
Liar, you lived through it yourself.
But that means you definitely know things that weren't on the police report. I mentally combed through everything I read in the files, trying to find anything I could use against them. That's quite odd, though, as the report only mentioned that her parents left the city. How do you know Desiree went with them and didn't stay behind? She could have very easily stayed somewhere else temporarily, then reconvened with them later. Why else do you think her belongings went missing? Or did you forget that part in the report? I feel everything click into place in my mind, unable to hold back my own smug smile to match theirs. I find that odd, because the report specifically says that none of their belongings were missing. But they overlooked it. Crow told me that he himself saw they were missing.
And why was Crow there to begin with?
I thought you said you learned about this from the precinct's files. If that's not the case, then the only answer would be that you yourself took those belongings with you. They clenched their fists, visibly trying to come up with any kind of rebuttal. I let out a satisfied sigh, then wiped the smug look off my face to address them directly. I think it's about time we ended this charade. Don't you think so, Desiree? They're silent for a moment, so silent that the rain is the only thing I hear, before they let out a deep sigh. Fine, you got me. They slump against the wall, a small defeated chuckle escapes from them. To think that the cops not seeing my stuff was missing would out me like this. How ridiculous. With another sigh, they turn to me. Well, what are you gonna do now, detective? Arrest me? You know who I am, you know where I live, you know my accomplices. You've got everything you need to cuff me here and now, so what's stopping you? Everything they say feels like a harsh wake-up call, as I'm suddenly thrust out of our banter to reality. They're right, I do have everything. I could end it here and now. End it? Is that really what I want? I've been chasing after this thief for years, and yet I can't bring it to myself to say I want to end all this. My thoughts are swirling in my head again, yelling a dozen different opinions on the matter, and making it hard to focus in on one. In the midst of all this, I suddenly recall what Sir Wilkinson said at the museum the other day.
Heed my advice, detective. Cherish this moment. While they may seem like a nuisance, there will come a time when they won't be around anymore, and you'll be wishing for them to return. It's always nice, with how mundane our lives can be, to have something extraordinary every once in a while.
I stare off into the distance, the weight of Sir Wilkinson's words drowning out all the other thoughts in my head. Between his words, my talk with Andre, hell, even the time I've spent in the city chasing after this thief. With all that said, I feel like I finally have some kind of answer. I then tighten the grip on my umbrella, breathe in, and say the most insane thing I've ever said in my life.
And where would the fun be in that?
Huh?
They're speechless, rightfully so, as they simply blink at me with their mouth wide open. Soon after, however, their face lights up with a big, bright smile.
Never in a million years would I have expected you to say something like that.
Me neither, admittedly. As embarrassing as it is to say, I do really enjoy your heists. You've been a thorn in my side for years, but somehow your heists were one of the few things that made me actually like this job.
Oh ho ho! Is the detective embarrassed about being honest with their feelings?
Don't make me regret this.
With another laugh, Desiree skips towards me. So, does this mean I can count on you to keep this a secret, Aiden?
We're not that familiar yet, but yes. It'll be difficult, but I'll keep everything a secret. I swear it.
I appreciate it, Detective Aiden O'Malley.
Okay, now you're just teasing me.
They let out another giggle, and I can't help but join in with a chuckle of my own.
If I'm being honest, when the time comes that you retire from being a thief, I'll probably quit being a detective too. These past few years made me realize a lot about myself and what I want to do with my life. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Glad I could help, even if it wasn't on purpose.
They check their watch, surprised by how late it is.
Whoops, I need to head back in to help in the kitchen.
You coming in for a drink?
No, I'll be heading back home.
Have a safe trip home then, Detective. As I turn around back towards the bar, I feel a knot form in my chest, making me call out to them. Wait, one more thing. They turn around, staring at me with intrigue. Before you leave, I just need to ask. Your debut heist 4 years ago, how did you vanish from the museum at the end? I've tested every idea I could come up with, but none of them worked. So how? They suddenly let out another laugh, cutting me off. So that's what you want to know, huh? But Detective, you've been chasing a magician for so long, and yet you forgot the most important thing. What do you mean? They bring up a finger to their lips with a cheeky grin. A magician never reveals their secrets. Of course. They then happily walk back inside the bar, disappearing into the sounds of the dinner rush starting. Meanwhile, I'm left with my mouth agape before a deep laugh escapes from me. Why am I not surprised? As the rain starts to clear, I walk back onto the street and head back home, satisfied. Hydrangea, finished chapter 4. The next day, but we're not, we just got the achievement for finishing the chapter, so I'm going to end it here. Even if we might still have a little bit of Aiden left there, but yeah, I think we have one more chapter and an epilogue, so I'll save that for the next time. I'll admit I was, for a moment, a bit disappointed that O'Malley wouldn't go into the bar and join them, because it's just a funny thought of like Forget-Me-Not and Crow and Andre, of course, sitting there with the detective, and that it would maybe, the bar would maybe become their hangout and they'd all hang out there together. That's just a funny thought, but it's also a very risky one, of course. Like, if the detective was spotted there, I don't know if that would be great in the long run. But yeah, that was it for O'Malley's chapter. Yeah, and that was it from me for today. As always, I'd really appreciate if you'd let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.